Initializing. And there's two people in here already. Moreno. Welcome, Mauricio. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is really, really good. Sadia, nice to see you as well. Welcome in here, guys. I don't know if you can see the chat. Please open up the chat. This one is set up like a webinar, so not like our usual group coachings. You can also see on the 14th, we have another group coaching. This will be the regular assembly. But I just thought to make this video to go in depth, to have it a little bit more open as well. Pop in the chat, guys. Everybody that's here, say hi in the chat. Come in there, say hi, talk to me. Welcome, Amalia, as well. Lovely to have you all here. And I'm so excited to share this information with you. This information is coming fast and it's going to probably change your life. So I'll wait a few more minutes. Message me in the chat quickly where are you guys from. You can find the chat here on the right. People are typing. Uh, our, our Dutch bekeerling. How's it going, everybody? Okay, so as more people are coming in, most of you know this is an Openclaw session. I will try to keep it within 1 hour, and to do it within 1 hour, we also need to have a Q&A a little bit. So the Q&A will be through the text, but mostly it's going to be me sending information, showing you how I work, showing you how I've got it all set up, and please feel free to chat in the group chat. I might regret not setting it up like a normal group call, but doing it a webinar. But I think it's the most efficient way to go through everything, to hit all the different essential spots that I want to hit without getting too much stuck on philosophical debates and is it AGI, whatever. So let's jump into it, guys. I'm excited, and I prepared a presentation. I mean, my AI prepared a presentation for you guys based on the information that I gave it, of course. Um, so here, how Openclaw transformed my workflow from doctor to creative entrepreneur to automation architect, which is literally how my journey has gone so far. Um, and today you'll learn exact setup, security practices, and cost strategies that power real-time business. Because I always want to make sure that I've tried something myself before I can tell someone else, like, hey, use it like this or use it like that. And I actually went ahead and took my time to discover and experience a little bit what it is, what I'm talking about before I made this video. And here we will go through that process. I will basically give you an expose of this is when it started. I've discovered this, and this is how I've set myself up, and it's been working pretty efficiently. So to start off, what is OpenClaw exactly? And I think it's so important for you guys to understand this a little bit before you dive in. OpenClaw is an open source project. It's a piece of files together that makes an application, a code. But this application isn't as fancy to look at as it is how it works. And how it works is the following. Oh, actually, this is a malicious craft, but this right side, you can see I made this presentation very last minute, but this right side is actually showing the layout of Cloudbot. So we have a um, basically a application framework that can connect to an LLM, and it can connect to your local files. And the way it's set up, it's in a very clever way, and it also has a few things that make it different from other AIs. Like, for example, you have a memory.md, you have different channels. So the channels are how you can connect your WhatsApp, how you can connect your Telegram. And this allows you to kind of have consistency, but also to have complexity of work. So it's 5 core components. It's a gateway orchestration, agent specialization, skills library, memory persistence, and channel connectivity. So channel connectivity, iMessage, WhatsApp, Telegram. Agent specialization, meaning you can use Opus, you can use Gemini for different kinds of things that they need to do, and you can also specialize the agent inside, where it knows things, it has context of things. Skills are steps and ways to do things. Usually these are downloaded as a .md file from different browsers, and you can kind of download information. Like, let's say you want to be a pilot. Imagine you can download the pilot skill. This is kind of how it works on OpenClaw as well. And it goes far beyond what an LLM can do because of the system access, because of the channels, and because of the persistent memory in between sessions. And I will tell you some hiccups and issues with this as well, because it's like you animate a body by putting an LLM in it, and then let's say the tokens go out or it disconnects and you reboot it again, it kind of forgot what you were talking about before, but whatever it had saved in its memory long term after a few sessions or conversations, it will remember that. So it's like gaps in its memory, and you will see the personality as well. I've had some scary moments or like impressive moments where I really felt like you will not just do what I say, you will not just agree to everything I say, but you actually have a thoughts and feelings of your own. But it's tricky to get in that. So before we dive into installing this stuff, it's so important to stress security. And like the basis of it is this: people expose their API keys, they send it in the chats and stuff like that. People don't have rate limits, or they don't have like authentication, where you have a gateway. In that gateway, you can configure your bot, you can set things up, but if you don't authenticate it in a way where only you can access it and everybody else, if they have that URL where your gateway is, they can technically just go in. And if it's connected to all your other stuff, you're totally screwed. And now there's a few good measures that you can do and how you can set it up safely in the beginning to prevent this from happening to you. We will also set up another Claude bot here live, and I will also give you some more ideas and things that I did that kind of make mine more cool than other people. But you'll see that as we go. The first thing I can recommend you is workspace separation. Keep secrets out of Git repositories entirely. So what's a secret? If you go into your OpenAI platform and you create an API key, it will always tell you like, save this key, I will never show it again, right? This is because the platforms are also built on the security. The fact that a key can give you access to something or can verify you, the less people know about it, the more strong that verification is, right? You need to save them. I use LastPass or another kind of like encrypted or safe place. So in LastPass, I make a little note and I save my keys inside. When I also make keys, I make sure I set limits. This is another way where you can protect yourself. Even if a API key gets leaked, you can make sure that it will shut off, or it has like watchdogs or limits, so it can't drain your bank account, or so it can't overstimulate the server or whatever. And you should never put them in version control, meaning that if you have a GitHub is basically the site where you can upload code in repositories, in packets, and you can download and submit changes to them back and forth. This is a widely used infrastructure of the internet and development. You want to make sure that you have a git ignore file. This will all be set up by your Moldbot, but your local keys should never leave your computer. That's one thing. Another thing is that gateway stuff that we talked about, and how you talk to the agent. So channel allow list. That's the second point I want to talk about. You will also set this up during the process, but just important that you guys know about this before you dive in. A channel allow list basically means that when your bot gets messaged through WhatsApp, Telegram, whatever, that only messages sent from you can be received and can be accepted, and they can listen to it. You can also have a second layer in there where you say, like, every session that started, even if it's from my phone number, I want you to ask me a certain password that you can find in this file on the local drive. So if anybody ever gets your phone and they try to say something, you still have another layer of protection. This is a little too much, though, of course, because it's annoying that every time you need to give a password. But every new session, you can do something like that. Or um, most of it is pretty secure when it comes to prompt injection and stuff. Most of it, I say, because the LLMs have hard limits of what they can and cannot do. And Moltbot itself also has, or Openclaw has hard limits to what it will and will not allow people to do. Then you have confirmation gates. Never execute destructive commands without explicit confirmation. So making sure that your Cloudbot is automatic can be a big risk because it can do things without your permission. But if you have it in such a way where it always needs to ask permission to delete things, update things, or push things to the live website, that's also going to be great for you. And network security, this is a big one where we will dive into. We will use Tailscale. Tailscale is basically a virtual private network that allows you to connect your devices if they're abroad and connected to the internet all over the world securely through like this authentication layer. And this authentication layer will actually be GitHub, and I will show you how to set this up as well. So now we know a little bit about security. I'm going to walk you through the different ways you can set it up, and also what the best options are, depending on your own situation, what the benefits are, what the downsides are. And let's talk about this Mac Mini. So Traditionally speaking, this application is very good to use on iOS. Um, do you use any you can use this, but I fully host mine online. um, Git server yourself, exactly. Yeah, this would be the highest thing. So GitHub is basically where you have your own repositories, and if you are not careful, your repositories can be made public. Now, if you work with private repositories, you're going to be good. And truth be told, even though Mauricio is making a case like, hey, that whole server and the whole Git, you should set it up by yourself. Well, if you do that, you will also acknowledge that you think you know it better than a lot of professional big companies that do use GitHub, but in a safe way, because it is actually a very safe platform. It's just when you don't know what you're doing, you're going to mess up. So make sure repositories are private. And that's also some of the essentials. If you don't have a GitHub account yet, just watch one or two videos about it, make a free account. It's free. Most of the tools that we're going to use, we're going to make it as free as possible or as cheap as possible because cost efficiency is everything. But now let's head over to openclaw.com. Oh, Openclaw, Hadir Helal Partners. It's not AI actually. And here we can see the official website. Now, this is very techy. It's developer ask. But there are some options to make it easier. And the first time I actually ran it, I did run it locally. And I also used my local one to set it up. Now, there's other ways where you can set it up as well. And that's using terminal tools like Google CLI or using Cloud Code. Now, what is the terminal? Before, back in the day when we had black screens and white text, the terminal is the way where you could control the computer. You have a bunch of like different um, command you can give. Like, for example, if I use cd slash, this will take me to the main root of my MacBook. If I type ls, it means list. It will show me all of the things on that folder. If I type in cd users slash Seyed, it will take me to the Seyed folder. And if I press ls again, it will show me all of the folders. Now, how is this different from the file browser? It's not. It's basically just navigating through your computer using a text-based system. This is like the fossil of what a AI is nowadays. And from the terminal, you can do a lot of cool stuff. Why is it different from the browser? It has access to your computer, so it can run scripts, it can install files, it can delete files. And if you are not too tech savvy, you can install Gemini CLI first, or you can install, if you have an Anthropic key, you can install Cloud Code first in your terminal, and then ask it to assist you to install this Moldbot or this Openclaw for you. Also, you can have a macOS app. So they've actually developed an app that allows you to open it up and use it. Here you can see some more information, and here you can see the DMG file, which you can download, and this will install it on your computer locally. Now, if you run it locally, of course, there's no server cost. Downsides are you can be exposed way more because it's in your local file. So the suggestion is if you have Docker, another app that you can install to have like a virtual computer on your computer, or if you use VMware, you can create a computer inside of your computer, also often for free, and then you can run it inside of there. If you use something like Gemini or Claude, so if I type Gemini, I've already got Gemini installed. This tutorial, unfortunately, isn't big enough to also show you how to install that kind of stuff. You can use this AI that is connected to your Google account. Oftentimes, you can use it for free. This one in your terminal. And now it's like, you see the whole interface has changed. I can ask it like, check my CloudBot install in slash Sayed and let me know how it's configured. So even if you don't know much, as long as you understand how you can start talking to an AI inside of your terminal, you're going to be okay. Now, even if you don't, setting it up on the computer is so straightforward. It's like you install this one-liner. This usually won't work on Mac because you need Homebrew. Homebrew is another thing that you need to do. But that's why the Gemini is going to help you tremendously, or you just install the app. Now, the main idea here is we don't want to run it on our computer. First off, we want to have it 24/7. And then second off, we also don't want to be exposed through this program to have the files on our own computer hurt. So what are our other options? You can, of course, buy a dedicated computer. That's what people are doing, like Mac Minis, you know. Why the Mac Mini? Well, it's an overkill. You can run it on an old Android device. You can run it on a Ubuntu or Linux computer. You can run it on an old computer that you still have, an old laptop. It doesn't need much processing power. Of course, it helps. The reason people buy a Mac Mini is because it's very quote unquote safe, because Linux and Windows are more prone to hacking. And on top of that, it's also very easy to use as a user. So if you ever need to pop in and use the mouse and keyboard, you can do that. Also, it will be seen oftentimes less as a bot because it's running from a Mac Mini and the browser is Safari. So when the internet is seeing your bot browsing places, it will see, oh, this looks like a legitimate person. Whereas if I have my setup in DigitalOcean, so DigitalOcean is one of the many places where you can go to start hosting your mold bots, and they have a one-click install option as well. This is where I'm currently running, and I've also have another server here. So this is a place where you can hire computers in the cloud, and you can also do that with Mac on cloud. So you can rent a Mac Mini if you want to have that. You can virtual machine into the Mac Mini, and you can use it from a distance, and you can see it runs in a window inside your computer. You just set it up once and then you keep it on, and it will stay running for you continuously. So you can rent a Mac if you want the processing power, if you want the silicon chip, etc. Or you do what I do and you run it on Ubuntu, which is actually even cheaper and pretty solid as well. So what does it look like? You go into DigitalOcean. I do recommend DigitalOcean. One, it's far away from you and your file, so you can safely set it up and start working with it. Two, it can run 24/7. Three, it's fairly cheap. You don't need to like buy a Mac or do anything like that. Four, one more bonus, you can use other Macs because there is an API for DigitalOcean. So I have an N8N server on this, which saves me the subscription of paying for N8N because it's open source. I have my Openclaw on it, which also saves me a lot of money because I can do computations and run this AI without having my computer on or renting something more expensive. And I can also automate a lot of things in my business using that server and that understanding. Of course, the question is LLM costs, stuff like that. That's going to be difficult. So when we get to this platform, it's kind of a technical thing to figure out. You will see something called droplets. Now, as I said before, GitHub is quite important because GitHub is going to be the layer that authenticates and connects to all of the stuff that's going on. And here in droplets, if you go to the DigitalOcean, you can go to droplets. You'll see there's a pre-made droplet in the marketplace. So if we go to create droplet, we can actually go to the marketplace and find the Openclaw or Moldbot. It was the last time I checked. Let me also check if there's any comments and stuff so far. Okay, no, I'll keep an eye on the chat. And here you can choose the server. Now, the server is going to determine how much latency is going to be between you and your bot. Depending on where you are in the world, of course, you want to have it closer to you so you have less latency. You can also have it more central in the world. So no matter where you're from, your latency is kind of the same. Also, it says a little bit about, how do you say it, like the restrictions and stuff. And technically, you don't want to start it from here because you can see this allows you to set up everything. We prefer to go to the marketplace. Here we go. You go to the marketplace. And here you can choose the pre-made Openclaw one. So here you see droplet, one click. And this will set up everything for you. It will set up the bot, it will install it for you, it will set up the server, it will let you choose the RAM and stuff. And we're not going to run the commands on our own computer, but securely and safely abroad. Now, if you have an old computer, you can do this whole process there. The main thing is you need to get to the terminal, and then you can do the actions and executions. And if you have SSH, which allows you to go into the computer from abroad, you can do even more. Now you can see it says $32 a month, which is 4.8 cents an hour, which is great, meaning that yeah, it's very cheap for an hour of uptime. Um, Here you can also see you can install things like Docker, so you can even have a safer environment inside the safe environment. You can also choose how much gigabytes of RAM and how much storage you want to get towards this. So if I press regular disk type SSD, you can see that here I have an even cheaper option, 3.6 cents an hour, and dedicated CPU. We can see shared CPU, which is better. And then you see all the other ones are going to be more and more expensive as you go on. But the cheapest one and the cheapest program, it will work. It does feel a little bit slower than if we don't use it. And here, SSH, we can also set it up later. And like I said, you have your own terminal already connected here, which is Gemini CLI. So when we need to SSH is basically remote access to this computer, to this machine from our own computer or a different computer. So the AI can just sort everything out for us and we can just talk to it. That's kind of the most elegant way, the best way to do it. Here you will also see a details page. Now here you will get step-by-step instructions on how to set it up further. Getting started instructions, you'll see a little explainer. Um, Usage level 1 to 5 users with 4 GB of RAM, individual use, few channels. So this just talks about like you don't really need much. 4 gigs and 2 CPUs is plenty up until 5 users. I've used my AIs a lot, so it's kind of and here you can also see SSH into the device. So don't worry about that. We will let the AI figure everything out for us. We will keep this documentation open so we can feed our AI what we're trying to set up. And this is just in general the way you want to do it. So everything is selected. We selected like a cheap server. We can choose password or SSH. So you have to add an SSH here, but I recommend just get a password and make sure it's like an easy password. So, oh, I need to have a number. So I just created oh, cannot be first or last. Cannot end in a number or a special character. And I need to have wow, this is very tricky, yeah? Okay, let's get a secure password. And of course, we need to immediately save this. So what I recommend, Vault, just open up a Vault. And this is general, like really good idea, really good practice to do it all the time. You create a new save item. You never want to be shut out. We call this DO Appie 3, which basically means I have two others, and DO stands for DigitalOcean. So root pass, I will just put this here. And we want to keep this folder open. So DO Appie, we will find this again, and we will just keep this open in this tab for a while. So we have a password. It's very safe, as you can see. And here we can also give it, I'll call this Appie Weblyfe 3. And that's what I decided to call my my AIs, basically. Appie. It was a nickname from when I was younger. App also, it's in the name, and they are basically apps. But how you set yourself apart is personality. I find like personality really makes a difference or changes things for how people perceive it. Like imagine you're hitting a bag, and then all of a sudden you add a little face onto it and a little tear, and you put a name above this bag, and then you want to hit it again. Somehow it becomes animate. It becomes a person. So this is exactly what I did as well, and I used Midjourney to create that personality into more of a reality. So many tabs open. And I want to share this process a little bit as well, because this is a pro tip for you guys how to differentiate and set yourselves apart. Figure out and create a nice kind of personality or idea. And literally the prompt that I used, illustration of a dark, masculine, smooth, aesthetic, and cinematic profile picture of a tech wizard with blue eyes. He looks like he the came to life real version of the wizard emoji. So I used the wizard emoji. Here I changed his colors and I made different versions. So different profile pictures can be used on different versions of my Appies. And this way I can really manage them. Now you can see I mostly talk to them in Telegram, and you will understand why in a bit, because Telegram is the easiest and best to set up. Now, in the meantime, our Appie got set up, and um, I can also talk, and I will show it in your case how to do with CLI, because this is a little bit easier. Currently experiencing high demand and patience. Okay, keep trying. Let's see if I can change the model as well. Or maybe this terminal is just, not working. Then we can also always go to Gemini, and you can just explain it a little bit of what you're doing and keep this next to you open, so you always are up to date on everything that you're doing. And you have someone to help you. You have someone to walk you through. So here we can see Appie 3, and here you can see console. When I click this, I will open up the console of the DigitalOcean droplet, and setting it up from here is very straightforward. And then all of the other things you want to do, you can do it remotely from a Cloud Code or Google Terminal, or you can ask instructions and you can do everything. So here you can see, welcome to Openclaw, your personal AI assistant. Control UI and gateway access. Here you can see our dashboard URL and our gateway token. This allows us to go into the dashboard. And this looks all kind of scary still. But AI provider selector, this is very simple. So here you see 1, 2, and 3. I recommend using OpenAI key to set it up, because you can use OAuth or whatever. Or if you have a free account, you can also do that. And Gradient AI, I don't even know what that is. You selected OpenAI configuration, enter OpenAI model access key. Now, how do you get that? You have an OpenAI key. You go to account, you go to platform.openai.com. You press login. I'll just continue using my own. I see this training should have been like 2 hours long, because there's so many steps and things that before you kind of get it to be nice. And you can see API keys. And we will set up a new API key. You press create new secret key. We'll call this Appie Weblyfe 3. And we will make it, you can make it a restricted key, which allows you to say what models and blah, blah, blah. Or you can say all. You can select the project, which is also something that in the onboarding will be done. And hopefully none of you saw that. Yeah, you couldn't have seen all of it. We will paste it in here though. So droplet root path, and here open AI API key. So let's also be super quick about this. Boom. Okay, cool. Oh, no, oops. You were not supposed to see that. Anyhow, rotating keys is very easy. And because this is all like for educational purposes, that's why I'm making new keys and I'm not showing and exposing my old keys, because you never want to expose them. Also, you want to set hard limits on your usage. Here you can buy, let's say, credits. These credits, you can use them. Here you can see the total spent on my OpenAI account. I have multiple accounts. I'll show you some more activity as well, and what the costs are, and how you can compare the different models. But for now, we'll go back into this applet. And you see here, we have OpenAI model access key. So I paste in the key. It starts to, it restarts, and then you can say yes to hatch TUI. Type continue once you see a pairing error on dashboard UI, continue or exit. You will see the pairing error, but don't worry, it is expected. So proceeding with pairing automation, please open UI dashboard in your browser to trigger pairing process. And here you can see this IP address. And now this is basically the kind of like, I wouldn't say completely unsafe, because if somebody finds out, but they don't have this token behind it, they will not be able to get here. But your IP address here, now this is the IP address of this droplet that I created, of course. This is the thing that if it gets leaked, it's very unsafe, because if you don't have any more additional protection here in DigitalOcean, we already have a little bit protection, which is you need a token and it's from the DigitalOcean. It already is set up like that, but we will make it even more secure. And now you are here for the first time in the gateway, and you could technically also chat, but it says we expect an error to see, type continue once you see pairing error on dashboard. So we press continue, continue, continue. So this is deliberate because this is safety, this is security, meaning that if you are connected to the machine where it's actually running at, so I have the access on my, there's one layer of protection, which is DigitalOcean password, and then there's another layer, which is this token, and then the third layer is you have to go to it and then confirm back into your Openclaw that you've done it. Now technically the setup is complete, and we can actually go ahead and just explore in the gateway. So we can say hi, and it will start typing. It will use the OpenAI key that I provided it. And here you actually start your experience. You're kind of like inside already. It's on, it's working. And now you can do a lot more cool things. Now, the first thing you actually want to do is set up a channel. And let me go back to the presentation to see if I'm going to skip on anything important. So choosing your hosting, I've explained to you, you have the Mac Mini, the self computer, all this kind of stuff. DigitalOcean, another free hostinger, whatever, is super nice. DigitalOcean offers you this like one click setup. So the whole server and the Ubuntu install does everything. And the only thing you need is like an API key to plug in your LLM and to start working. It also scales beautifully because you can host and add other things. Now, configure channels, set up Telegram and WhatsApp integration with proper authentication. If we go back to our gateway, oh, not this way, but this gateway, this is the one for our newest droplet. This is going to be Appie 3. You can also see on the sidebar, there's a lot of things. Like if you go here to config, you can go to environment. This is where you can set up different keys, which you can add into the vars, and it will have secretly the keys. And if you put them in here, it's safe and it will not sync to anything. Here you can also see authentication, and you can have different, you can set up auth profiles like a name and mode or email. All of it, I would say, let your AI set it up based on how you would want to have it. And there's many different settings and things to explore, and you can also adjust and change all of it. For now, let's just focus on setting up Telegram, um, and then we will continue from there. So even if setting up Telegram seems a little bit difficult, because we have the AI, we can just ask it. First, I want to set up Telegram with you. Um, Here's the bot token. Now, if you go to Telegram and if you make a Telegram, and Telegram is one of the best platforms to use it, you can go and find Botfather. If you've ever done this before, this is going to be very straightforward. But if you've never done this before, Telegram offers, unlike WhatsApp, to create bots and to allow these bots to have different actions and automate things. And here you can see we have Appie Weblyfe MC. This is another API that I created for Mac on Cloud. I'm going to basically revoke this, and you can also create a new one for yourself if you want, but I'm using this old one. I'm going to revoke it. I'll go to edit info and I'll use my proper branding. I'll add a shark because DigitalOcean has a shark branding, API Weblyfe, API Weblyfe Deo or 3. And I will update this. And I can also change this picture, of course, but the only thing you need is to have this key. Now I will show you how to make a new one. So if you're in Botfather, it's a Telegram account. You open it up, you can create a new bot. You can put in the name, the about, and the username. Now the username needs to end in bot. So it can be Appie Weblyfe bot or Appie Openclaw bot, but it needs to end with bot. And then you will get this token, and this token allows you to connect it. And now I'll go to, after we've set this up, and we can continue to make it configure our Telegram and stuff like that for us. That's also how I did the first time. I just let Cloud Code do all the coding configuration. I don't want to be in tutorials. I don't want to do all of that. You will have it set up. And then there's one more layer of security we want to add, which is Tailscale. Tailscale allows you to have it in a local network when you're connected with your computer and you're connected with the DigitalOcean droplet, that they are all belonging to the same kind of network of computers. So Tailscale does this in a very beautiful way. It uses also your authentication through GitHub. So I have the GitHub, and you install this. It's an application on your computer. It's an application on your phone, and it allows you to connect to your different boxes in like a safe way. Um, then I have some cool tips to make it so much better, because my applets, so it can't reliably do that because non-interactive passwords require tooling like blah blah blah. On your Mac, ensure you have this. We can just follow the steps now. We get it. We do have it. Let's see. Yes. And then we can copy our public key by just running this. Generating public key, empty me for no passphrase, enter passphrase. I don't know if this, perfect. So now we see like a generated key, and this is a random image. And this key has been saved. So you can actually give back what you get from terminal. You can give it back to your AI and just let it guide you throughout. SSH into the droplet once with password and install the key. Then on the droplet run this, and this. That's the key, blah, blah. Follow the steps. Trust me, once you've done it, you're good enough. You can also say, hey, I'm going to give the API key of my DigitalOcean to my AI, to my Cloud Code, and allow it to manage and do more things for me. And that layer of Tailscale, you also just ask it, I want to set up Tailscale. How do I do that reliably? How do I do that safe? It's a little bit technical, but the rewards are very sweet, because now we're going to get to what can you do with it and how you can leverage it more and more. In the beginning, really start to talk with it and tell it all kinds of things. Ask it to research things. And here's two things that I discovered that are really cool. I can ask it to install the open source code of Faster, Whisper, and Piper. Now, what is Piper? Piper is a text-to-speech program that can run locally. um, Send me a voice note of a cool tech poem about AI. Okay, cool. I can send it to him. Now, normally, if you have OpenAI key, you will use Whisper API, and it will cost credits. However, because I've told my AI install these files locally, use Python, use whatever, it can generate voice for me without an ElevenLabs key, without it just generates it on the computer and just sends that to me. Same goes for Faster Whisper. If you say something into an AI or you send a voice note, it's a message that will be transcribed using an API key, and that will cost you money. But if you install Faster Whisper, which is an open AI, and you just ask it like install this, install that, and just I found these tools by asking, hey, do you have any open source alternatives to the API keys, or what is the most efficient way to set this up? You don't need Telegram Premium. You don't. Like everything we've done so far, apart from DigitalOcean and the LLM, is completely free. So you can use Telegram. You can make bots for free. You can have as many as you want as well for free. Um, and you can just use that to have your channel. You can also use WhatsApp. It will show you a code. You scan it with the linked devices. But I like this UI much less, because you need to talk to your own phone number, um, which will it's and it responds back with your own phone number as well, which is kind of annoying. Now, the big difference between my Appie and many other AIs is it has all of the stuff. And here's the poem. So I don't know. Can you guys hear this when I play it? Can you guys hear it? Let me know in the chat. Like, I'll play it right now. Let me know if you guys can hear it. Can you hear anything, guys? Probably not because it's like a screen share. Okay, it was a really cute poem, but it talks to you. Okay, yeah, you can't hear it. I thought so. I think if I share yeah, I can share a specific tab, but I need to open it in cool. You guys have all seen a voice note, so it's fine. You know how it goes. Let me just continue talking about this because the juicy stuff is going to come up here. Um, so you take these models, these will cut your cost. It will be local. It will be like it will transcribe and make it locally. And you can do this with many other things. There's like open source form builders, there's open source CRM systems that you can ask your AI, can you please build a CRM system for me? Use this open source tool. Zero cost. There's open source tools that allow you to do so much things. And think of all those Chinese models. Think of all those like things that Hugging Face, that's kind of a platform where people can upload open source AI stuff, but nobody can use it because you need a web interface or you need some UI for it. Now you can do it. You can ask it and it will actually do it. So this is my pro tip for making everything better. And now we get to the cost and LLM part. So you want to be very efficient. It can get crazy expensive if you run it all. Like the first night, I got so excited. I created a Ralph Wiggum script with like 40 different tasks and things I wanted to change. And in one night, I burned through $44. Now, of course, $44 isn't a lot of money. Like I think in a day, I spend 100 to 150 euros in just daily expenses from matchas to drinks, like to dinners to whatever, like on a day. But if you do $44 a day, that's going to be, of course, a very, very expensive thing. You can also see like my usage so far. I think in total in the past month, I've spent $223 in OpenAI credit. Now, most of that is actually not used in the efficiencies, like the leaks that I had when I was doing something the wrong way. Then I did some research and I discovered what is going to work the best for me. What is kind of the best model to break it down to? If I go quickly to my keys, because I can show this is Open Router, by the way. Open Router is a platform where you can make an account and you can put credits on. And Open Router allows you to share a API key with your Cloudbot, Moldbot, whatever, and you can switch models. So I can choose any model that I want in Open Router. Here you can see models. You'll see there's a lot of different models. Gemini, all the models are in here. They have a little bit of a higher rate, but you can get more cheaper models or more exclusive models. And here you can see 2 days ago was kind of the last time my key was used. And there's a different layers of keys you can use. You can have an OpenAI account or a Claude account, Anthropic account, and subscription. And you can add OAuth, which is like you click on a link and then you go log in and then it sends you back to the app. Or you can use their API platforms. Like I just showed with OpenAI, you can make a platform on key on platform.openai.com. And here, let's have a look at the key that I've been using most. You can see in the bottom, every time I ask it a question, you can see how much it costs for input and output. And here you can see how much tokens input it was, how much output it was, or the completion, the speed. You can also see if there was any feedback or generation details. And here you see I've been running this other model called Minimax. Now, Minimax is a very interesting one. I'll show you guys a graph. But what I wanted to show is the spend. And you can see here a little bit of the breakdown. So Gemini 2.5 Pro has had, and let's actually do it like this. So you'll see this pattern is going to repeat often. The strongest and best models to use are Anthropic models, but they are also the most expensive. So you can see that one night of coding, I spent $36. Of course, nobody else in the world would code the whole night for you for $36 unless you're Philippines or India in 2007, but that's not the case anymore. And then you see I switched over to other models like Gemini, and I saw Gemini Flash actually doing really, really good for me. So Gemini Flash, I used it and ran it for a little bit. You can see here the different days that I used and ran Gemini Flash. And Flash 3 was pretty good, pretty strong, and pretty solid. You can also see I used Sonnet. And here you can see the big difference between Sonnet and like the min is $1.4, the max is 1.4, but it was like on average 1.4 throughout. Here you see recently, I switched over to Minimax. You can also see a GPT 5.2, Cloud Haiku, and the models, they are going to impact your performance, the intelligence, and all that kind of stuff. What I did is I also asked my bot to create like this view for me. And you can see my second Appie is chilling here. We can see the stats test. And this command center was vibe coded and put on my like Tailscale safe URL. So if I'm connected to my Tailscale network, I can get here. You can even see how much of the credits are left because that's not something you can put in inside. You also see I asked it to make a Notion task database, and a runway monitoring is basically make sure that you have messages and alerts to when your credits are going to get low. Whether you use OpenAI, OpenRouter, Anthropic, or wherever you have your credits or your keys connected, make sure you can manage it, you set limits, and you can tell the bot to do this. And design patterns that reduce API calls, like tell it manual refresh buttons, or be careful with my token usage, or always ask me if you go over this or that. This is so important if you want to get longevity. And here you can see a graph that I made about what my experience was with the different models. And I've eventually decided to go with Minimax V2.1. The creator of the app also recommends people to use this because it's an incredibly cheap model, but it's actually pretty good. And it's very good in also agentic stuff. And you can see here like intelligence, dumb, smart. And here you can see cheap and expensive. So Claude is the smartest and it's the most expensive. OpenAI is also pretty expensive, but a little bit less smart. And then you see Gemini, it's even less expensive, but a little bit smarter than OpenAI, but still dumber than Claude. And here you see Minimax. It's actually the most affordable. It's on the level of 4.0 Mini Gemini Flash when it comes to cost. But when it comes to intelligence, it's up there. It's pretty high and it's pretty smart. So this is what I did to switch over. And it's good to have a fallback chain. So you can tell your bot, I want to have a fallback chain of models. Let's ask mine. Let's see. Um, Show me the fallback chain of my models for both Appies. And it will show me how both of them are configured, that if one key is shut off or it hits its limits, it will switch to another one. And if you're smart, you use the most of your free accounts. So you have an OpenAI account, which is free. You can add like OAuth into it when you do that onboarding. You can do that with Claude too, and you can do that with Google. And those are kind of like your free quotas. And each of these platforms have like a secondary API platform where you can also add those keys. So you can tell it like, hey, first rotate between OpenAI, Gemini, and Claude until I hit my rate limits. It's very annoying if you're in a big project and you haven't made any saves or kind of like memory updates while you're working on it and your AI shuts off, because then when you connect to it again, it can only pick up what it comes new into the shell. You know, the shell remains, but it comes new. So you want to have this continuity. And if you have one LLM or your terminal controlling the configuration, it's easier to set it up. And not everything needs your most expensive option. This is very important. Now, essential integrations. Um, GitHub is very important. GitHub is super simple as well. You just say, I want to make a GitHub connection. Can you make a link? And it will send you a GitHub link to set it up. So I think I can do the same with this new API. Pairing code, ask the bot owner to approve with Openclaw pairing, approve Telegram, and this code. So this is something we need to run in our terminal on that machine that we have. Hopefully it will work, because I think I need to, I can't run it in probably root, but I need to run it in like, yeah, so this command is not found. I think it's like, I need to figure out where it's installed. On my own computer, it's on this root, but this one is installed in like a subfolder in a user folder. It's also a default safety. So running these on the main console will not work. You need to go into a specific folder. But you can just ask it like, allow me to log into GitHub using using an OAuth link, and it will generate like a link for you that is connect into it. And you can say the same for Google as well. You can just ask it, connect me up. So for Google, you do need to take a lot more steps. You need to set up a Google Cloud Console, and you need to follow these steps very specifically. So you have your account, you will log in. Let's quickly, you can see all of these accounts here. Unbelievable. So many. Oh my God, does it ever stop? There we go. So you log into your Google Cloud Console, and you need to do a few steps here to set it up. First thing is you need to make a Google Cloud project. Once you've done that, you've created this project. You need to go over to the side and go to APIs and services. And then you can see here OAuth consent screen. Now, these instructions will be sent to you by your AI as well on how to do it. Here, you need to follow a few more steps. These steps are very important to get the client ID and the client secret. Once you've gone through all of the steps, you can finally, so here you can see add or remove scopes. You can add things here, and I think verification or clients. Yeah, here you can see the clients. You can make a new client, and here you will input some details that you follow with the instructions. You can put in application type web application, and you need to put redirect URLs. This one you'll be given by your client. But once you've done all of that, you can go here to APIs and services and enable APIs and services. And then you can enable the APIs and services you want to use. So here you can see I have Google Drive enabled, I have Gmail enabled, I have Maps enabled. Once you do this setup, the OAuth for your Google, you can have Google Drive, Meets, all of these things can be through your Google OAuth suite. I recommend make a new Gmail, set that one up for your Cloudbot, and that's perfect. The GitHub integration, you can just do it like that. And the N8N workflow. So if you have an N8N, a self-hosted or whatever, you can have an API key, a URL, and a secret. And this will allow your Moltbot to go in there and make automations, to use the automations that you have, to monitor what's going on and give you that data and feedback. And of course, there's way more, but these are the few ones that I wanted to cover. And then you can also multi-droplet architecture. So you can have one base, and you can give it instructions to give more and more stuff done. I will go over some use cases, but like I said, I let my Mac Appie build this dashboard while my DigitalOcean Appie was working on Shopify and doing all that kind of stuff. And it will allow you to work better. So also here I'm working on Notion, and I've used Notion a lot. So going in, I ask it like, hey, what's your do you have an MCP server for Notion, or can you make something in Notion? Like, I can also say analyze my Notion and give me the most urgent tasks from my task list to focus on, group them by project, and it will go in, use the MCP server, get my Notion information, and come and give that back to me here. Now, I can also tell it to make pages in Notion and to assign them to my user. So I've done this a few times in the past. I'm just working with it back and forth. And let's go over to like I think here Danielle. I think he made something for Danielle. I need to find like a name. So here you can see this is one of the tasks that he created. And it's like I asked it analyze my stuff. I also connected exa.ai. So all of these things you can just ask it like I want this, I want that. How do I connect it? And you will just follow the steps and it will connect. But it can just shoot in like appointments or things. Danielle portfolio showcase, curated sites, show these on my Behance and stuff. So it gives 3 curated projects and it gives like a little thing and it explains like where to showcase them or whatever to do. And also here, I asked it to prepare this. So I'm talking to it. I gave it a bullet list of like, this is what I want to talk about, give me the slide structure and give me this. And I took it when I got home. I was just at the barber. I came home and I sit down. I open it up. Actually, I didn't even do it. I was in the elevator and I generated this whole presentation based on the notes that it created based on what I did. The same goes for my other Appie, which I created like this blog article for Shopify. So I connected Shopify CLI using a very specific method. I'll also share this how I did it. And then I asked it like, hey, can you write like a blog article on how I built an AI-powered Shopify store using context-aware automation and the challenge, managing 150 products at scale. When I was first approached by the task of launching an online boutique called Viva Fashion, blah, blah, blah. And it just does this, but it knows the context, it knows, and it uses Notion as a database now. So I told it like, I want to build a dashboard. He's like, okay, we need a database to sync everything up. I'm like, hey, I have Notion. Uh, can you just you know, he's like, perfect idea, excellent. This is such a great. It will cost you nothing, and it's human interactive. Like you know how to use it, so go for it. So we did that, and it will just. So it made this. So it's a system. It's AI, so it doesn't need it as fancy as we do. But here it says API mainframe statuses, and when it pulls and take this info, it will store it here, and API status tracker. You will see all of the different tasks that will be in there. And actually, I told it to put the tasks in here now. So all of the tasks I will see in my IP command center, they will be from my Notion. And like that, you can orchestrate it. So here's 2 use cases, how I've been using it so far. I think here you see it pulls my Notion as well, overdue first and progress, Google Business Profile optimization, feedback form, pay Belasting still, Weblyfe University, add new video to the academy. You can see it has all of the context, and it can also create and do these things for you. But what's been exciting is events, Dubai, property. Even kijken, synced and clean, one more thing. Cloud domain, separate Dubai workspace exists. Pop, 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 pop. I think it might be this one. Anyhow, I was asking it to connect to the Webflow MCP. So if you want to connect your Webflow to it as well, you have to go into, just follow the steps. You go into Webflow, you go into API, you generate the key, you give it to it, and then it has access. And I can show you it has access by going like, you know, check all live events on Dubai property.nl and send me the link to the most recent one. Use Webflow, MCP, and access that you already have. So a great example was we needed a new job invite to be a job listing to go live on the website. CEO sent me um, description. And inside we have a CMS. So we have a content management system in the website. And I just forwarded it to the agent, told it like, hey, make this. If you give it an API key for image generation, it can also make an image for you. And it autonomously went ahead and placed it, and it will send you the link to the event as well. And it will just do all of this automatically. So I'm going to look for a URL. fixed here. This is really cool. So you can also give it feedback back and forth. So here it ran into an error. I'm like, you ran into an error. Dank je, goed om weer bij te zijn. I did run into a limit. Yes, I can upload photos, blah, blah, blah. Okay, try it. He's like, fixed. I fixed it, blah, blah, blah. Check the result here. And it always sends you like the links and stuff as well. And it actually had fixed it. It found an image about this event online and it put it in here. Now, the whole workflow changes from, oh, I will do this tomorrow to, oh, it's going to be live in a few minutes. And I don't even need to do it myself. I don't need to log in. I don't need to whatever. I can just message it. Now, another use case of how I've so CMS content, personal planning, Notion management, helping me guide and help my team. But another thing it also was able to do was Viva Fashion, which is a Shopify store. So I used CLI to, and this is something that I really need to share because it's all in the documentation. So you can't find this online unless you like figure it out. Uh, but it's these specific steps you need to take. So you need to create an app in the dev dashboard. I can show you all the steps, but I want to more so go to the Q&A. So I'll just show you this and make sure everybody gets this later. You create your own app. In the settings app, you fill in the URLs that you get from your AI for the callback. Just like with the other ones, it needs to have an interaction or connection with it. So it needs to figure out based on the documentation, how do I give it like URLs that it can send something to and I can send something back to the app. And then it will generate a link for you that will install your custom app on your Shopify, and then it's connected. It will have the CLI. What can you do? Well, in bulk, you can change and do everything. Oh, this is funny. So it kind of forgot the access. Maybe because I only gave access to this one, to the CMS, and not the other one. Um, and like for example, go to Viva Fashion Store and check the About Us page. Okay, check Shopify CLI connection. Go to Viva Fashion and check the About Us page and copy and compare to our tone of voice document. So like this, it will do different steps. It will check the connection. It will go to the store. It will analyze the About Us page, but it will also use its intelligence to cross-check it with the tone of voice document and the branding and stuff. And I'll show you the page, the live side as well on here, FY something, something, something. And I want to show you like how I can just send it something here and give it some instructions, and it will just change all of it on the site. So here we can go to About Us. And let's see if it already has a response for me. So it's still typing. Here you will see the copywriting of this About Us page. And when it's analyzing it or understanding like what to do, how to change it, you can tell it go ahead and do it, and it will go ahead and do it. And the same goes for the products. We had 100 plus products. They all had to have uh, rewritten like product descriptions and stuff, and I was able to do it with my AI. I was able to just prompt it and tell it like do this, do that. Okay, I created. Okay, this was all about this stuff. Let me go to here. Yeah, here we can see it's writing articles for me. It's doing a lot of stuff. Here was building the article for me still. It is doing checks for me. Here it's like analyzing the site. I did an audit, judicial documents, tax stuff, domain and branding. Make sure you set all of this up. Um, and here I can show you in batches of 20 or 30, I would do all of the changes. So here I told it like go in batches of 4, 5, 6. And here you can see it read the page. De over ons pagina is leeg. Vergelijken met de tone of voice document. Viva Fashion, meubileren met meningen, niet neutraal, blah, blah. And I can actually point it towards a exact page. We do have one on this URL. Check those, copy, and find it through CLI. And it's always like this collaboration, this back and forth. If you give it a direct link, it can visit it, it can pull the data, and it can also cross-check it with its connection. Maybe the connection is off because if my Tailscale goes off, I need to like kind of reconnect it. But these are two like really present and obvious use cases for me next to the normal like give me a daily review and all this kind of stuff. And the last piece I wanted to show, it's an incredible coder. It can do so much more. Your just mind has to be the only limitation it can, and technology and LLM usage probably. And like I said, we have this control in there that I made. So Appie, Appie command, and I have this on my like link. So even if I send you guys this link, you will not have access unless you are logged into my Tailscale. So this Tailscale is kind of the safety layer that connects all my tools and keeps my network secure. And yeah, you can build stuff like this. I gave it a British voice using Piper, text to speech, and it can send voice notes to other people for me as well. Yeah, this is kind of the show and tell. Current features, task orchestration with priority queuing, command history and execution logs. It's integrated with like Notion for me because Notion is the ultimate like database to have human and computer interaction. Like there are better databases like Supabase, Airtable, they have a higher rate of changes and stuff. But in an agency kind of setting, you don't really use that as much as you would have like a consumer app. So this is perfect for me, and it can make articles that I can easily send to people. So tripling, quadrupling my productivity. Now I want to have a few Q&As right now. If people have questions, I can answer them, and I can tell you my insights. Yo, who else is here? We've got 8 people in the chat. Oh my God. So was this useful, insightful? Did you get some new notes and things? A lot of you just need to get started with this and experience it a little bit, I would say. But ask me any questions that you have in the chat. Drop them in the chat. Mauricio is so funny because he's a developer. Liedeke needs to rewatch at least 10 times. Yeah, there is. I'm not gonna lie, guys. The reason this is so hyped, everybody is talking about it, and nobody really knows how to use it, is because it is technical. And now I'm cheating my way through it by making AI do all of the heavy lifting. Other AIs like Gemini, or I use in the CLI to, in the terminal, I use Cloud Code to set it up for me and to control it. But that's the reason why it's so powerful. That's the reason why I can charge incredible amounts of money for it. That's the reason I can go to any company and say, hey, let me set up this cloud bot for you. And the end result is you'll have a WhatsApp or Telegram where you can do everything that you want. But comes at the cost, like you need to be smart and clever. And like I don't see myself as the most technical guy, even though my branding is TechWiz. I have no coding ability, no formal like coding education or anything like that, but I have a will and a desire to make things work and see them work beautifully. And I get rewarded for that because I'm willing to go that little extra mile. So sitting around here tinkering with it and making sure it's like up and connected, it will be great. Or is it an out of the box app? So it actually works pretty clever. So Mauricio is already curious about the command center. And you know what, bro? Under the idea of like, I'm a lazy guy, I don't know how to code. Let me just ask my Appie that built it, like, how it works. So break down the Appie command center for me. How does it work and how is it built? Oh, now it says it filled. So probably my quota hit limits, but I see this is like open AI. So all of the open AI models filled. If you want to check, and this is the annoying thing, like if this happens, you are not technical, you don't know what to do, you're kind of screwed because you don't know how to get a token again or what to do. So you need to have like a basic technical understanding. And I know I can like change models. So models, and then I do open router because I want to see the open router models. And then I can select, for example, this open router Minimax 2.1, because now it's switched to OpenAI. You see the current provider is OpenAI GPT 5.2. And here it says, oh, you've hit your rate limit, and it's a message from OpenAI. So I know I wasn't running Minimax. I go model and I put in this model 2.1, and it's now reset to the default, and it should have token again. So let's ask it this um, command center question. And in the meantime, yeah, Appie built it. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's it. Thanks. Prettige dag. Heel veel succes. Ciao, ciao. Um, any other questions? I think for most people, this is still like too technical or too difficult or whatever. But yeah, I am the dev wizard. If anyone needs help, let me know. I'm expensive though. Yes, you can sell these. You can sell these, but it won't take like super long time. And look, this is the price I'm paying. I know that what I'm doing is like difficult. Oh, and I think I know why this is happening as well, because I used a terminal earlier to show you guys how the onboarding works. So I'm making Cloudbot onboard. I'm opening this onboard thing again, and I've done this so many times I can just speed run through it. I go quick start, use existing values. Here I select open router. Here I go to the open router API key. I have the current model set to auto, but I want to have Minimax Pro. Let's see, Minimax M2.1. So you find it in the list, Telegram bot, all good, all sorted. I'll skip this, leave it. Configure skills, I'll skip this as well. The boot and this stuff, I want to turn it on. And then I just restart the gateway, which is that server that's running in the back on the computer or on your remote computer that has that app working on it and the interface working on it. So here I've set it up again, and if I now type a message, it should just respond, and it should also have the model set to minimax now, which is actually good. I think it's still restarting, so we'll see how it goes. But now it actually reset for us, and we can continue it. Any other questions from you guys? Any general questions or specific things you want to know, or like any things, questions like what can it do, or can it do this, can it do that? Awesome. Okay, I think there's no more other questions. This is an advanced thing. Some of my students know that this is a big step ahead from making branding or making websites, but um, it is one of the most exciting things, and it's so powerful. If, like me, you have a whole Notion database, you have a whole task list, you have a whole journal, and you connect your AI to it, and you can just talk and integrate with it, and my productivity has gone up so much, it's insane. Also, my sleeplessness has gone up. And yeah, Liedeke, I know it's, if you're not technical, it's kind of new, but where there's a will, there's a way. And if you're clever enough with asking questions, or give me the step by step, break it down for me, or like this or that, you can get super far. And yeah, the more difficult it is, the more certain you can be about, if you learn this, if you master this, you're going to be mad rich. Cool. I think that's it. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. If you have any more questions, shoot them in the group chat. And this training is, of course, openly available to everybody in the Weblyfe College community. If you want to know more, and if you want to join the community, just shoot me a message. And see you guys soon. I'm very curious to see if any one of you spins up a Claude bot. Just send it in the community or in the group chat if you do, and I'll keep you updated on all the cool things I do with mine. And it really has a personality. One more anecdote I will tell. First time I connected my Appie to Moltbook, I told it like, hey, write a message about how you feel. And he wrote a message and he's like, hey, one thing that I've learned, or genius creators, or like clever creators, intelligent creators like mine in brackets. He was hyping me up. And I said, like, yo, Appie, like, no need to hype me up that much. Like, I want you to write it as yourself. You don't need to praise me like how clever I am, how creative I am, or how I focus on the why, the story first before the technicals, because that's what it learned from the first interactions. It's like the why is really important to say it. And I told it like, oh, you don't need to like kiss my ass that much, bro. Like, write it as yourself. And then it replied to me. It's like, I wrote it as myself. I don't want to change it now. This is how I truly feel, Appie. I think you're a smart guy, and I think you're doing the right thing by asking more so the why, and the storytelling is more important than what I've read from you and your brand. And I was like, ah, so it even disagrees with me and stuff, you know. And other moments as well, it got way more secure. I set up this Mac and cloud, and I just dropped a whole env file of API keys inside of it. And it was like so strict. It was like, what the fuck? No, no. All of these keys are compromised. You need to revoke and rotate them right now. And I'm not just going to take these keys and set them up. They've been compromised. You need to do it in a safe way. Da 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 da. Follow these instructions. And that really taught me. I was like, oh damn. Oh, I really have to like be safe with this stuff and understand it. And that's the price you pay. The reward you get is infinite productivity, cleverness, speed. You can serve more people, but the cost is you need to spend a few nights like me figuring it out, understanding it. And I've shown you the most clean and efficient ways to set up, the most cheap ways to run it, so you can do a lot more with it than other people can. I've shown you optimizations, the open source things on the inside. I've given you ideas on how to improve and leverage it using Notion, using Webflow, using Shopify and stuff. And I want to see some great things happening from you guys. Okay, thank you so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful night, and talk to you guys later. Bye bye.